Ladies and gentlemen, the Durham probe might add additional charges to Kevin Clinesmith, the former bureau lawyer who admitted altering an email about a Trump campaign associate who had been under surveillance. So Durham is also expected to complete a report at some point. One estimate is within a couple of months. But there are other charges that are going to be leveled against people within the government and outside the government, according to the Associated Press and a National Review article and some other articles. The AP link is going to be below in the description. Evidence presented to grand jury in Durham's Russia probe. Why is this important? You might roll your eyes and say, oh, nothing's going to happen. Rome was not built in a day, my God almighty. You can't simply expect Durham to find the intent needed when he needs to find the intent or the some kind of evidence that proves all of these people were out to get Trump, which isn't difficult to do, but it takes time. You think that the Justice Department or James Comey's old bureau or Clapper's ODNI or Brennan's old agency, you think these people want to give information? You think they want to give Durham the information that he needs? He already indicted Clinesmith. There are others who are going to be indicted. You say, well, he didn't receive an actual, sentence. Well, it's like he's going to be very likely charged with more crimes. And this is a process where he has to, and I wrote about this in the Federalist. Okay, you can look at the writing, my writing on the Durham probe in the Federalist. There's something called, there's a statute called 18 U.S. Code 371. All right, I talk about McCabe and Comey. 18 U.S. Code 371 is a statute where if you conspire to defraud the United States or any agency thereof in any manner or for any purpose. So, if you utilize your post within the United States government, they actually tried to go after Trump in this manner. They tried to use 18 U.S. Code 371 to go after him. Now, this is an article I wrote in the Federalist, okay, a while back. And you could use that statute once you have the information to prove that these people set up and framed Trump, which isn't difficult. They used a dossier that was purchased by Clinton and the DNC. But one thing that Durham is doing, and the Associated Press article talks about this, is people who gave tips. Okay, so people who gave information to the FBI and others, they gave this information oftentimes for there was a political motive involved in giving this information. They wanted to, harm Trump. Durham probe of what sparked Russia investigation examines tipsters. The special counsel is expected to submit a final report in coming months. So the people who gave information to James Comey and Clapper and Brennan and everybody else, what was their motivation? Were they paid? Were they people like Christopher Steele? Were they people did they give information to people like Kevin Clinesmith who then utilized that to deceive FISA judges? It's pretty obvious what took place. They utilized the United States government against an incoming candidate, an incoming president. This was not a peaceful transition of power. This was not a peaceful transfer of the presidency. They claim, okay, that was horrendous. It was a tragedy in January. Couple hours later, they voted. Nothing was prevented from taking place. Okay? We had a transfer. And it was a horrendous day, terrible. I condemn what took place. But The United States government didn't investigate Biden or his son, which they could. And he'll be impeached over all of that very soon, after 2022. You can't start this endless process of impeaching your political adversary and not expect that to come back to haunt you. So that's going to take place. But hit subscribe to this channel right now. To my super thanks. Your support is greatly appreciated. The super thanks button is below, right next to the share and the like buttons. If you want to support this channel long term, your support is so greatly appreciated. Patreon. My Patreon is below in the pinned comment, and also on hagoodman.com. You can read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications. But it's not that difficult to understand what's going on. The people who started this investigation into Trump and Russia, they had a motive. It wasn't this, they weren't impartial. They weren't like focused on national security. Facebook ads didn't swing anyone's vote. This is tinfoil hat nonsense. Okay? And Democrats and media, they've Trump Russia'd the entire country on a whole number of topics. But this was something that was completely irrational, and it was something they did only because they lost. Clinton lost to Trump. They were mortified. They couldn't stand losing. So you had people who, by the way, Clapper and Brennan both lied under oath. Okay, they both committed perjury. But you had, I mean, that's like liberal journalists have talked about that. But Clapper about Snowden's revelations and Brennan about spying on Dianne Feinstein's Senate panel. So they both said, "Oh, well, we didn't do anything like that." And then information came out that yeah, they did. And so their testimony was contradicted by what actually took place, which is, you know, there's a word for that. It's called perjury. Anyway, apparently these laws are only focused upon when they can be leveled at anyone associated with Trump. Notice that President Trump has not been indicted or charged for working alongside Russia. He hasn't been indicted or charged for conspiring with Russia or for pressuring another country to investigate his direct political rival, or for a financial labyrinth of criminality in his tax returns, or for compelling and making people do horrible things in January. So everything they've said about Trump has been a lie, or they're just complete imbeciles and completely ignorant and have no idea of anything. Very likely, everything they've said they knew to be false, but it created this aura of corruption. Oh my God, he's so corrupt. He makes Nixon look like, you know, the most honest person. Oh my goodness. Okay, with Nixon, you had a cover-up of an actual crime. Okay, the plumbers were created to stop leaks, which, by the way, no presidency has had more leaks from the White House with anonymous people saying, oh my God, Trump did this and Trump did that or whatever. And it all turned out to be nonsense. But Watergate was a break-in into the DNC headquarters, a break-in into a building, into an office. And the break-in was a crime. And the crime was covered up. And one of the people who tried to cover up the crime was Richard Nixon. That is light years away from anything associated with Trump. Because had he not resigned, he could have faced prison time, Richard Nixon. Trump can't face prison or jail time for anything. They can't get him on anything because everything they allege was complete nonsense. Now, it's not that difficult to find out that all of the people who conspired against Trump were after him. We already have Kevin Clinesmith, but now there has to be intent and there has to be more overt criminality like deceiving judges, which I'm sure Durham has. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll have a live stream later tonight.